Oh, hop up the bed, turn my swag on. What you going on out there, everybody? It's your boy Willie Epting Jr. Man, welcome back to the second segment of the ShakeBack Sports Show right here on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. Man, checking in live, loud, and in color. And speaking of being on live, thank you guys out there for checking us out on Facebook through my personal page, as well as the ShakeBack Media Group's personal page, the network's personal page, and of course, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram TV, baby. You already know what it is. And of course, Twitter. Yes, sir. I'm not going to call it X. I cannot call it X. I will not call it X. All right, let me get this out the way as well. As of Friday, salute to all of the veterans and their families for your service and your sacrifice. This country is lucky to have women and men, ladies and gentlemen like yourselves that continue to be out there fighting for what gives us the opportunity and the ability to do what we do. So thank you for that. I see you guys out there on Instagram TV. Thank you guys for checking us out. Man, drop your comments. I will shout you out. And the same thing for Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. Drop your comments. All right, just in case you missed it in the first segment, we had to give the flowers to the Texas Rangers and what they did in terms of winning the World Series. Very, very happy for that squad. And I'm going to pick up right there here in just a second. Before we do that, though, this second segment, it is being brought to you by Football Tonight. Intense high school football action lives on right here as Football Tonight, as both the Crowley Eagles and the Dunbar Wildcats are looking to be playoff bound. Catch the Eagles on the BGCSN 1 and the Wildcats on the BGCSN 2. Twice the intense high school football action. For schedules and times, just go to BGCSports.net. That is BGCSports.net. All right, so before I actually get to the next topic, which is oh my maize and blue, let me just deal with a couple things here real quick when it comes to Rangers fans. I have been going at some of them for the past week or so, but it's all good. It's all in good fun. I don't mean no personal beef. It's just fandom to fandom. I have a problem with people that started watching the Rangers in the postseason after they beat the Orioles, or while they were in the series with the Orioles, actually. I have an issue with people who say they are Rangers fans, but I have never seen them post anything about the Rangers. It's always the Mavs. It's always the Cowboys. I have a problem with people who claim to be Rangers fans, but don't know not one player on the team. So, with that being said, stop calling yourself a fan. It's okay to say that you're rooting for them, but don't say that you're a fan, especially when I have talked to those people, some of those people actually, who said, I can't watch baseball. I don't see how you do it. It's way too slow. Those are the folks that I'm talking to. Don't claim to be a fan just because they won the World Series and now you're looking for a champion to latch on to because your true team, the Dallas Cowboys, continuously let you down year after year after year. I see you, Carrie. How you doing out there, KK Curtly? I see you. So yeah, that's my spill on that. Let's move on to oh my maize and blue. If you have not been following the stories out of Ann Arbor, oh my gosh, the University of Michigan, the punishment has been handed down to head coach Jim Harbaugh because of the fact that there was a Michigan staffer that was at a game and was taking photos and videos of hand signals against, I think it was Central Michigan when they were getting ready to play Michigan State or something to that effect. And this guy, I'm not going to even say his name. We're not going to do that. But this guy was on the Central Michigan sideline of all places with the camera, with Central Michigan gear on. and videotaping, allegedly videotaping. Okay, so there's been all kinds of, and Michigan's my favorite team, guys. So I'm not gonna hold any punches. I'm not gonna be like, yo, y'all treating them unfair. That's what Desmond Howard did, and he's okay to do that because he graduated from Michigan, played football there, won the Heisman there. Okay, that's him. But let me say this as a fan: if these allegations are true, and it seems like they're going to be proven to be true, Michigan deserves every bit of whatever punishment is going to come down. Jim Harbaugh deserves every bit of punishment that is going to come down. And here's the thing with Jim Harbaugh. We already know he's going to bolt for the NFL next season. There's no doubt about it. And this, to me, is just the final nail in the coffin. But what I don't want to see is the likes of what Stephen A. Smith was talking about. Stephen A. Smith was saying that if these allegations prove to be true, even before they were proven to be true, and they still have not been proven to be true, Jim Harbaugh has just been placed on leave, and he cannot be on the sideline with the squad for the remainder of the regular season. Okay, I got an issue with that too. But here's the thing. You cannot say we're going to punish this entire program for something that probably happened, but we can't say definitely happened. And the reason why I say that is because I thought it was proven, I thought it was innocent until proven guilty. Now, I understand that this isn't a crime. However, it's the principle still should apply in this case. And why? I mean, look, you have J.J. McCarthy, who is projected to be a number one, a first-round draft pick, maybe a second-rounder. You have Blake Corum, who was in the Heisman Trophy conversation last year before he got hurt. I don't know what his NFL prospects look like, but he's one of the more dynamic runners in college football. You have a team that has dominated the competition all year long. Last time I checked, it's not hand signals or the stealing thereof hand signals is what's going to really give you that much a competitive advantage if your team is just better. And Michigan's team has just been better than every team that they played this year. But my thing is this, is that if Michigan is guilty and they found to be liable for said offenses, they deserve every bit of punishment that is due to them under the laws of the NCAA. And they deserve it to the fullest extent because you just cannot do that. And I even heard that if Jim Harbaugh does bolt for the NFL, that the NCAA may be working with the NFL to try to, I don't know, maybe circumvent some sort of punishment if he does do that. I don't know how much legality they have with that. I don't see how that could be done because it's two separate employers. That's just like saying, I could say give a lot of examples, but what I'm saying is that's like working for that is two different entities. And if I'm going to be working for, I don't know, X, and I did dirt at X, well, if I go to work at Y can't do anything to me for what I did at X? That's X's job, or that's X's disciplinary action rather. So I don't know the legalities with that. I don't know if they can do that. I wouldn't think that they could, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. All right. So let's we are halfway through the first second segment rather, and I'm gonna go from that low of the Maize and Blue to a semi-high that continues to be the narcotic that is called the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Las Vegas Raiders, we've been screaming as Raider Nation. We've been screaming for the firing or the relieving of Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, head coach or former head coach and former general manager, respectively. We have been calling for their removal for quite some time now. And Raider Nation got their wish about a week and a half ago. And when Antonio Pierce was inserted as the interim head coach for the Raiders, and when I watched the press conference after he was introduced, I was ready to run through a wall for that dude. I was ready to run through a wall for that dude. And I can only imagine. As a matter of fact, Devontae Adams basically said the same thing. We're ready. Show us the nearest wall because we're ready to run through it. And the Raiders did just that. The wall, or in this case, the gate, really not even a gate. I would probably call it the paper that you run out to you're on the football team at the beginning of the game, and they had the little thing up there, and you bust through that. That's kind of what the Giants were, 30-6. But here's the thing: in watching or looking at the highlights, because I was not able to watch the game on the way back from Houston. But here's what I ascertained from that particular performance. Number one, the Raiders players had fun again. They made football fun again, or Antonio Pierce helped make them make football again. Number two, the effort and the passion in which they came out and played with was reminiscent of what we saw when Rich Bisaccia was inserted as the interim head coach back in 2021 when we made the playoffs. And then number three, the players only meeting, or not really the players only meeting, but the rift that was there between Josh McDaniels and the players really came to a head, as reported by Jay Glazer from Fox, when he said that captains, leaders, all of that went upstairs to the Raiders brass. In particular, Mark Davis was like, yo, he got to go. He's got to go, period. He's got to go. And when you have Josh McDaniels, who had completely lost the team, have Antonio Pierce get up and talk before the team at the end of one of the practices that week. And Josh McDaniels was upset because, remember, guys, it was Antonio Pierce's New York Giants that beat that 2007 New England Patriots team when they were undefeated. So Antonio Pierce got up and talking about how, look, this is RaiderNation. This ain't the Patriots. There is no Patriot way. And Josh McDaniels got upset and said, don't you ever talk about the Patriots team like that again. Basically, he got his feelings hurt. And I don't know why, because this Raiders team, is nothing like any of those Patriots teams that he was the offensive coordinator for. Number one, you're never going to see another Tom Brady. Period, point blank. That is the biggest thing. You're never going to see another Tom Brady. So he got upset because he felt as though Antonio Pierce was disrespecting what they did in New England. And it wasn't that at all. It's just the fact that this is the Raiders, and you can't do Patriot way things with this organization. They're not built like that. And for him and Ziegler to come in and try to do just that, it rubbed those players the wrong way. It just did. So you see a team that is completely and utterly, invigorated against a Giants team that they thoroughly dominated the entire game. The defense, 6 points is what they gave up, and it very easily could have been 30-0. They gave up a touchdown at the end of the game. And the Raiders defense, how many times have we been able to say this, Raider Nation? The Raiders defense is the reason why, because they are the best unit of the three phases for the Raiders franchise. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, the Raiders have the 10th best defense in the National Football League. We have not been able to say that since the 80s. Since the 80s. 40 plus years. And now you have this new, fresh coach coming in with all of these great ideas, and who is a heck of a player, or was a heck of a player in his own right, was the leader on those Giants teams, knows how to win when nobody expects you to. So as Raider Nation, this could be the dude that we've been looking for the longest. As a matter of fact, in the last 5, maybe 10 years, there's only been one head coach for the Raiders that has had a total run with a winning record. And that was Jack Del Rio from, I think it was 2016 to 2021 or 2020, when they let him go for, because that was the year that, it may have been 2015, but that 16 year was the year that we were favored to go to the Super Bowl out of the AFC until Derek Carr got his leg broke. That's how good that team was. And even that team wasn't that great defensively. But you had Marshawn Lynch. You had Derek Carr. You had Michael Crabtree. You had Amari Cooper. You know, you had these playmakers. And the thing is that Jack Del Rio is the only coach in that time with the winning record, 25-23. John Gruden finished under 500. Josh McFraud finished under 500. I can't remember who the coach was before Jack Del Rio. But the bottom line is this. Antonio Pierce is 1-0 as a coach. And he basically said it. Everything that happened before they were 3-5 is over. They're now 1-0 going into the rest of the season. And yeah, I know the Raiders have like the second or third hardest schedule remaining. Got the Jets on Sunday. That's a very winnable game. And if the Jets, I'm telling you right now, the Jets probably have one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Although he's been playing well in spells lately. But the Jets, outside of that tremendous defense, I mean, they don't scare you. So this is a game that the Raiders should win to get back to 500, 5-5, going into the game. I believe the next game after that is against the Dolphins. And guess what? The Dolphins have shown some vulnerabilities as well, because they've shown that if you can get to their quarterback with 4, which we can do, by the way, they can throw off some things for them. I'm not saying we're going to win the game. I'm just simply saying this is a fresh start, and it feels new. It almost feels new. It feels like this should have been done at the beginning of the season, or this should have been done in the offseason when we called for it. Who knows where we would have been at this point? And then on top of that, really and truly, yeah, we're 4-5, going into week 10, but we very easily, ladies and gentlemen, could be 7-2. Because the only one game that we really got blew out in was against the Bills. That was the only game that we really were not in. All the rest of the games we were in. And I believe that actually was another nail in the coffin for those two, because of all of the blown leads that we saw from the Raiders last year. And then you have a team that went to the playoffs in 2021. And then in 2022, Josh McDaniels comes along, and instead of improving, we digress. You bench the quarterback, and then you let him go off to another team. And oh, by the way, I also read a report that it was Josh McDaniels that talked David Ziegler into releasing Derek Carr in favor of Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo has been benched, and Aiden O'Connell is going to be the guy moving forward. And I believe that kid has something. So yeah, it feels like a fresh start in Vegas. And as a Raider fan that has been a long-suffering Raider fan that continues to get grief from people around here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that jump on bandwagons because their precious little Rangers, who they don't even care for, has won a World Series because their Cowboys lost yet another game that they just cannot beat the good teams. Anyway, that's going to do it for the second segment of the ShakeBack Sports Show. Y'all come on back and holler, man. We're going to get into some more. We're going to get into a little bit more NFL and then some NBA. ShakeBack Sports Show, Willie Epting Jr. Y'all come on back and holler.